Deck the halls with bells of holly, rocking around the Christmas tree. What's poppin', people? It's Dante. Today we're gonna do some ASMR along Chestnut Street here in Philadelphia. Are you looking for organic waxing? Come on down to the Sugar NYC. You can get your lashes done. So yeah, I'm just trolling around in the morning, walking down the street. Yeah, I'm just getting the day started. Got some sunlight by the art museum, walked along the Schuylkill River Trail for a bit. Yeah, it seems to be a great day. Chilly in Philly. Thinking about the process of photography, right? To find joy in the process itself. Yeah, it seems to be an important aspect to consider, right? Where it can seem grueling at times to go out there to make new photographs, to come home and to have nothing, right? Where a lot of this thing seems to be failure, right? Where you're gonna, you know, be disappointed time and time again when you come home from a photo walk, and that's normal. How to combat this? How to find joy endlessly through the process? Treat yourself like a tourist in your hometown, right? I find this to be a joy to actually, you know, be born and raised in Philadelphia, but to find endless fascination in the mundane life around me, whether it's even just going to a tourist location like the art museum every day. And kind of, you know, remaining open without preconceived notions of what you will find is another really important aspect to consider, right? Where you treat the camera as the excuse to kind of just go out there and see what's going on. And yeah, perhaps the attempt is more important than the outcome, right? So, you know, considering the results, considering the photographs, yeah, it's merely just like a byproduct of the adventure of going out there and exploring, and to find joy in walking, right? So for what is street photography but merely walking and observing and photographing and talking with new people, and to learn and grow, you know, to treat each photo as this sort of stream of becoming, where you're asking questions with each photograph through the curiosity. And also, just another practical thing is, if you consider yourself an amateur, if you actually consider yourself an amateur and return to the childlike state, you'll find endless fascination within things, right? Where, you know, the withering of the trees and the bark on the trees themselves, or the textures on the poles and the textures on the walls, and, you know, the impermanent nature of life itself, right? This becomes something that you can uplift with a photograph. So, you know, considering the photographs we make as abstractions of reality to sort of uplift the mundane and create something out of nothing, I think is a very important thing. And how to achieve this, I've been using the Ricoh. I've been setting it to high contrast black and white, using the small JPEG files. My idea is new photos ultimately is the goal, right? And to think longevity, like think really long term. Like, I'm thinking like 30 years from now, like, am I gonna still want to be doing this thing? So having a small compact camera, setting it into a small JPEG file where I don't have to do any processing, everything backs up easily and quickly. Yeah, it's really critical for me to find joy in the process itself. So practically, that's my process, right? And to set everything into automatic modes and functions, and to sort of just point, shoot, yeah, and embrace the sort of snapshot aesthetic, right? Where there's no such thing as a perfect photograph, right? To embrace imperfection generally with the things that we create, where imperfection is perfection. To find this sort of balance between the natural and the man-made, right? Looking at this leaf in the ground, sort of tied down by this little like withering, rusty bike lock. You know, to go slow and to really observe life and the flow of both nature and human behavior, and yeah, uplift that, right? And to find potential in everything around you, you know, anything and everything can become photographable, right? To find endless potential in the things around you to photograph is critical for creative thriving, right? Where perhaps the nature of black and white, you know, being an abstraction of reality, offers more possibility and creativity due to this nature of the monochrome medium. And yeah, perhaps then we can see what a photograph can potentially be, right? What will reality manifest to be in a photograph? And yeah, this seems to offer potential innovation, which I am interested in. And yeah, so finding joy in the process. It's really easy. Find joy in walking and find joy in observing life. The photos are a byproduct, right? To sort of just be like this ultimate sort of flaneur, sort of just like the joy is in the process itself, really. The results, you know, don't worry about it. It's like, what makes a good or bad photograph? I don't know. Does anybody know? Can anyone tell me what makes a good or bad photograph? I'd love to know. Does it resonate with you? You know, maybe that's what's critical. Maybe that's all that really actually matters at the end of the day. Are you having fun? Right? Embrace the autotelic approach, right? Where you don't allow anything external to influence you and your photography. You find the motivation in your legs and the movement of your body. And to consider the photographs, right? To consider a photograph as a reflection of your internal state, the photograph as a reflection of the soul, rather than of, you know, this sort of depiction of the external world around you. Yeah, perhaps this is a wise philosophy to adopt as well in terms of making new work. Yeah, it seems to be an interesting approach. And also consider yourself a visual artist, right? Don't tie yourself down to only making photographs. I like to use the iPad Pro, where I can use Procreate and remix images. I've also been taking newspaper clippings from the free newspaper stands, thinking of ways to scan them in and make collages. ZenBrush app, you can make calligraphy drawings, even using ChatGPT to and DALL-E 3 to generate images and create stuff from your imagination. Honestly, it seems like the world of art is endless and we can do so much as visual artists. So perhaps it's actually a wise thing to consider yourself as such rather than merely a photographer. Yeah, I think that's wise. Yeah, the process is all about walking, observing, and yeah, just following your intuition, your curiosity, and ultimately, how much courage do you have, right? Did the photograph require an amount of courage, right? How much courage did it take for you to make that photograph? Perhaps those are the more successful photographs. A successful photograph perhaps asks more questions than gives answers as well. You know, some simple ideas to consider. Hey, there's William Penn and Benjamin Franklin. I like thinking of the routine, right? The morning routine, wake up, drink coffee, yoga, lifting. Recently been doing an audiobook of the Iliad, which is cool. So I woke up this morning listening to the Iliad, just got to like book 2 or whatever. I just started it off. I actually have not read or used audiobooks, but yeah, Benjamin Franklin being this like, so this is my first time using the audiobook, but yeah, Benjamin Franklin being this like amazing Philadelphian inventor, innovator. He had like a really epic morning routine or daily routine, and I think you know, he was very joyous and like always interacting with people and strangers. And yeah, I think to sort of channel our inner William Penn, channel our inner Benjamin Franklin as Philadelphians is wise here in the city of brotherly love. And yeah, say hi to strangers, I guess, and smile as much as possible, right? To spread kindness. Yeah, this is a good one. But yeah, the Iliad I've been starting with yesterday. Rode my bike along the trail here, which was nice, right? Sort of good function of the AirPods, right? What is the function of AirPods? To sort of cancel out all the noise on the bike and just listen to an audiobook, perhaps. Yeah, this is a good thing. I'll do a review of the audiobook once I finish, as yeah, this is something new in my routine now. You know, in the evenings I'll sort of go for a walk and listen to the audiobook. It's probably good. And the reason why I'm choosing to listen to the Iliad at the end of the year here is because I started off my year with the Birth of Tragedy by Friedrich Nietzsche, the Antichrist by Friedrich Nietzsche. I read his works, and he speaks about some of these ideas of, you know, Greek culture, discussing the gods, right? Dionysus being the god of chaos, and Apollo being order. I think of this sort of Dionysus state in relation to the beginning of my year, where I actually started the year off in B&H in New York City and traded in all of my Fujifilm camera gear, all the cameras, all the lenses, and I went, you know, I just said F it, gave them away, and returned with Ricoh GR3, Ricoh GR3X, used the store credit or whatever, and to destroy yourself, where destruction is creation, you must destroy your past self to create a new. And yeah, that's kind of what I did today as I look out with this elevated view, or I did this year rather. Yeah, this is the start of my year, destruction. And now endless creation and propagation, right? Don't build your platform on quicksand. Delete your Instagram today. Start a WordPress.org blog. Go to Bluehost.com. Host your first name, last name.com. Own your domain like you're Lion King. Yeah, if you want to host your own videos, Jetpack plugin, VideoPress, make a YouTube channel, upload your slideshows, Google Photos to back up everything, and what else? Astra theme, that's the theme I use. And yeah, just Google things around, I guess, or find like something, you know, I'm saying Google things, now let's just chat GPT everything. But yeah, no, I think on Google, that's where you can find more like PDFs and outlines and stuff for how to use WordPress, because it can kind of be a little bit more tricky than Squarespace. But the idea is you want a space to propagate your voice, your thoughts, your photos, and not be tied down to these sort of platforms like Instagram. Yeah, destruction is creation. Enjoy the process. What I found interesting about reading The Birth of Tragedy was his sort of relationship to this notion of the sublime, right? To find joy, like to find this sort of sense of like wonder and awe within life itself, right? Where when I find myself at the top of the art museum steps, or looking out towards the horizon and walking through nature and being by the river, there's this sense of sublime that I feel within, and it's something that I can't really explain. Perhaps the best way to explain it is you sort of look out towards something beautiful, it's beyond beauty, it sort of just makes you go, wow. And I want to channel this aesthetic through my photography, right? The sublime aesthetic, beyond beauty. And I think that the darker the photo, the more sublime, the more beautiful. It's sort of this interesting notion, the sublime, that I'm curious about in terms of the aesthetics with my high contrast black and white photography. And the Antichrist was interesting, right? The Antichrist, this book challenges Christian morality, discussing his sort of opposition to this notion of meekness and weakness, and perhaps even asceticism within Christian morality, right? To go beyond morals and ethics, and maybe even, you know, his notion of this sort of afterlife and, you know, this life on earth, you know, perhaps being supreme. And so treating your body like, you know, the ultimate sculpture. You are the sculptor, the sculpture. Yeah, it's a good one. And to sort of increase your power, increase your muscle mass, ultimately is the goal, right? To find joy in the hello doggy. How are you, man? Good morning. What do they say? They got the zoomies or something? Is that what they say? Yeah, the dogs are going crazy. So yeah, basically, you know, what is the thing that Jesus said about the mustard seed, right? You plant the mustard seed in the ground and watch the tree grow like the kingdom of heaven. I find this to be an interesting notion too, where one small seed, one small difference that you make in the world can sort of have this sort of ripple effect, right? Through smiling, spreading joy, etc. you know, holding the door for someone. I don't know, like there's some simple things that we can do to sort of channel this sort of ripple effect within the world. You matter and make a difference. And I think it's good to be optimistic, right? Anti-nihilism, Nietzsche's view of the sort of meaningless nature of life, God is dead. I mean, these things make sense, right? But I still find this sort of balance between his ideas, Christianity, to be a good one. God is dead and we killed him. Ooh, there's the sun. Yeah, set your circadian rhythm. More sunlight, more power. The more sunlight we get, the better. Yeah, it seems like the more sunlight you get in the morning, the deeper sleep you will get. I usually go to bed I get in my bed around 7 p.m. after taking a really hot bath. And yeah, I've been going to bed around 8 p.m., waking up 4 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever. Just starting my day off writing using the iPad Pro. Voice dictation, just click the little microphone at the bottom right hand corner of the whatchamacallit, keyboard, and just speak, and that's how I write. It's much more efficient. And yeah, have some fun with ChatGPT, learn more about the etymology of words. Seems to be a good one. Hey, there's the key. The key to my heart. The key to my heart is through the power of photography, where the most joy I feel and the most blissful feeling I get is being in the great outdoors. And how to achieve bliss: simply look up at the sky.